Every year, 800 million liters of apple juice are produced. To produce this enormous quantity, machines harvest more than 100,000 tons of apples from local farms. But how is industrial apple juice made? Discover how apples are processed in factories to obtain juice on a large scale. The apple juice production process begins with the harvest. About 90% of juice production takes place during the harvest season in October. From September, when the apples have developed their full flavor, they are shaken from the trees and harvested in various ways. The tree shaker machine grips the trunk with its hydraulic arm, shakes it vigorously for a few seconds, and 60 kilos of apples fall to the ground. Most eating apples are still harvested by hand, but this machine can shake 100 tons of apples in a single day without problems. It's just one of the local farms that supply the factory with 100,000 tons of apples each year. From September to the end of November, processing activities in fruit juice companies are in full swing. 800 million liters of apple juice are produced annually. Between the delivery of apples at collection points and subsequent processing, a maximum of 24 hours pass. As soon as the apples touch the ground, apple juice production begins. Apples arrive at the factory from local farms during the harvest season. 4 of these huge trucks arrive every hour. It is essential that the apples are fresh and in good condition when they arrive at the factory. The process starts when a conveyor belt takes the apples to an inspection area. A torrent of 90 tons of recycled water causes the apples to fall into 4 water channels. The apples fall in the opposite direction to the conveyor belt so that leaves and unwanted materials adhere to the belt. The initial inspection discards any damaged or spoiled apples. Fresh, good quality apples are essential for obtaining a delicious and healthy juice. The factory transforms 40,000 tons of this fruit into apple juice annually. After the initial inspection, the apples are classified according to their size, color, ripeness, and quality. This classification process helps ensure that only the best quality apples are used in juice production. Defective apples are separated for use in other purposes, such as applesauce production. Once classified, the apples go through an additional cleaning stage to remove dirt, dust, and possible surface contaminants. This is achieved through a water washing process. It is done in a completely automated manner in modern processing facilities. The apples are temporarily stored in silos for several hours before moving on to the processing stages. It is important to keep the apples at a controlled temperature and humidity to preserve their freshness until they are used in the next step of the process. Additional quality analyses are performed, such as measuring acidity, sugar content, and other parameters to determine the quality and flavor profile of the apples. The selected apples are transported from the storage area to a washing station. At this station, the apples pass through a series of rollers and brushes that wash them with water. The water helps remove dirt, dust, and other visible residues from the surface of the apples. After the initial washing, the apples undergo a disinfection process to eliminate possible pathogenic microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi that may be present on the skin of the fruits. Once disinfected, the apples are rinsed again with clean water to remove any residue from the disinfectant solution and ensure they are ready for the next step of the process. The washed and disinfected apples are transported to an area where they are allowed to drain and dry before continuing with the process. This helps remove excess water that could dilute the juice during the extraction process. Next, the clean and safe apples are transported to the peeling station. The apples are peeled to remove the skin. Peeling is carried out by specialized machines that use blades to efficiently remove the skin. Apple skin usually contains more insoluble solids and can contribute a bitter taste, so its removal is important for obtaining a clear and tasty juice. Once peeled, the apples undergo the shredding process. The apples are cut into small pieces in this shredder. Inside this juicing beast, there is a grinding plate equipped with 28 serrated blades that, at 1,500 revolutions per minute, cut the fruit into bite-sized pieces. To soften the puree and prepare it for juicing, the mill adds a natural enzyme called pectinase that creates a chemical reaction. What the enzymes do is break down the cellular structure of the apple so that when we press it, it releases more juice. During shredding, cores and other inedible parts of the apples can be removed. This ensures that only the pulp of the apples, which contains the most juice, is used in juice production. Next, the apple pieces are taken to maceration tanks, where they will remain for 60 to 90 minutes. These apple pieces pass through 120 meters of pipes to 6 50-ton tanks. The apple puree is pumped into a powerful hydraulic press. The press is filled with 9 tons of puree and forces the juice through the 288 filter sleeves inside the press. The filter sleeves retain the skins, seeds, and stems of the apples. This allows extracting the greatest possible amount of juice from the crushed apples and and effectively separating the solid particles from the pulp. In the powerful presses, the liquid is squeezed from the puree at high pressure. The goal is to break the pulp cells and release the juice contained inside. At this stage, the juice is essentially a cloudy liquid due to the presence of suspended solid particles. The puree and leftover pieces of skin and seeds are heated to produce methane, which is converted into cleaner, more eco-friendly energy. Incredibly, apple puree can power 1,000 homes each year. The extracted apple juice is channeled through a pipe to storage tanks, leaving behind the unwanted parts of the apple. This juice is cleaner and clearer compared to the crushing stage, as it has been more effectively separated from the pulp and fibers. The juice is filtered to remove smaller particles and obtain a clearer and cleaner juice. Quality control is strict at every stage of the process. They take juice samples to evaluate its quality and ensure that manufacturing parameters are well controlled. During this process, adjustments can be made to the juice to achieve the desired flavor and characteristics. This may include adding acids to preserve the natural color and flavor of the apple, as well as correcting the balance of sugars and acids to achieve the desired flavor profile, and preservatives to further extend the product's shelf life. The crushed and separated apple juice is temporarily stored in refrigerated tanks to keep it at an appropriate temperature and prevent the proliferation of microorganisms. Once cooled, the juice flows through these immense tanks. The next step is pasteurization. The apple juice is pumped to a heat exchanger. During this stage, the juice is gradually heated to a specific temperature. The heating temperature and time vary according to regulations and manufacturer specifications, but usually range between 75 and 90 degrees Celsius. Once the juice reaches the desired temperature, it is maintained at that temperature for a set time. This is known as the retention period, and its duration depends on the temperature used and food safety requirements. The goal is to ensure that all harmful microorganisms are eliminated. After the retention period, the apple juice is rapidly cooled to a safe temperature. Once the juice has been pasteurized and cooled, it is temporarily stored in refrigerated tanks to prevent contamination and ensure product quality. It undergoes a homogenization process. This involves passing the juice through a machine that breaks and mixes the added particles, ensuring a uniform distribution of ingredients in the juice. The apple juice is now perfectly filtered. Its clarity is verified as well as its flavor, color, and sugar content. Since it is produced in October, it must be preserved throughout the year. Part of the production is stored in this tank to be bottled during the year. The apple juice is pumped from the refrigerated storage tanks to the filling machines. These machines fill the containers with the precise amount of juice, ensuring that each product has the same amount of liquid. These small containers are filled at a rate of 100 per minute. 2 small sprays of hot glue are applied to the containers. This secures the straws to the container. Another automated production line fills the bottles. Every minute, 120 bottles are sealed with pasteurized apple juice. Once the bottles are full, they are hermetically sealed to prevent the entry of external contaminants. This helps maintain the freshness and quality of the juice during its shelf life. After being filled and sealed, the bottles pass through labeling machines. Once packaged and labeled, the products are ready to be shipped to stores and supermarkets. Thanks to its perfect preservation, consumers can enjoy this juice at any time of the year. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it and share it with someone else who might be interested. Also, subscribe to this channel and activate notifications to keep learning. Greetings and see you in the next video.